Hey, everybody, Odio here to talk about Scream 7. Yes, the Scream Queen herself, Sidney Prescott, is back in Scream Part 7 in a franchise that's been going for 30 years and just like its protagonist, just refuses to die. Let's see how Part 7 turns out. So with Sydney back, we get a lot of meta commentary about all the other Scream movies. And I will tell you, I am old enough that I saw Scream 1 in the theater all those years ago. I saw Tatum and all the people get killed. I saw Shaggy from Scooby-Doo playing Stu Mocker, the evil ghost stab or Ghostface killer. The Ghostface has been back for many, many movies. He's been parodied and everything else all across the board. But for Scream 7, he's actually back as a real, legitimate threat again. And I've got Sidney Prescott back. Nev Campbell has returned. And let me tell you, they turned the nostalgia up way past 7 on this. It's at like 10 or 11 for sure. You can kind of feel it in everything throughout the whole movie. It's got a very, 90s, early 2000s feel to it. And it's really cool because even in the opening, you get Jimmy Tatro from Life According to Jimmy. I like that guy. He's funny. But we get a whole opening where they go back to the slasher house and you can now pay to stay there. And you get some really cool scenes with him and his girlfriend. And, we always get some really cool murders, but you kind of get to see how they try to bring everything back to before. How is Ghostface back? Isn't he dead? I thought Stumacher was gone. Who's taking over? What's going on here? Well, anyway, once the story gets going, we zoom in on a little small town, and Sidney Prescott, Nev Campbell, is back, and she has a daughter, and her daughter's name is Tatum. Now, yeah, if you're like me and you saw the original Scream, you're like, Tatum, was that Rose McGowan with the head crusher? Oh yes, yeah. So she she named her daughter off her old friend from the first movie that died. Her daughter doesn't like that at one point too. She says, "I'm not a victim." Tatum is played by Isabel May, and she does a really good job. She's her own little character. She's kind of like a small version of Sydney. She doesn't want to be a victim. She goes, I think it's high school. It's hard to tell, but she's in like the drama club. They're doing like a play and things like that. She's got a bunch of friends, potential victims, right? Sydney Prescott has moved on in life. She kind of had a little disappearance. She wasn't there for New York, which people bring up a lot. And she's married to the chief of police, Joel McHale. I gotta say, too, he does a really good job. I liked his character as the police chief. He's funny, comes off like a cool husband. And obviously, if it just feels really obvious why Sydney would be, attracted to the chief of police. She's kind of had some problems. They make a lot of references to the Stab movies, which are kind of the movies that take place in the world based on the things that happen to Sydney. And you get a couple of characters who are experts on Sydney's life and all the old kills and things like that. You get a lot of people like true crime podcasters, the people who love talking about that kind of thing. They do a really cool job with that. That's the kind of person she would actually run into nowadays. so it totally makes sense. Scream has always been a little satirical, but we definitely get every single type of possible suspect trope there could be. There's people obsessed with her past and know everything about her, all the little details. People from her past she hasn't seen in a long time. We have, of course, boyfriends involved. Oh, there's a random teacher at the school, a mentor person, and unknowns all around. Who is the killer? But anyway, as the story progresses on, we do get a lot of nice kills and things like that. I gotta say, like, I haven't watched every Scream movie. I know I've watched at least the original three, but I think I've seen a couple of other ones in between there, but I don't really remember. But I love the tone here. They do a really good job. You never know where Ghostface is going to be. They're always in like a dark room. You'll see a shape or something move behind you. It's really creepy. They go all out with the kills. They go right through with the stabs and everything. You see the blood. You see the visceral organs popping out at one point. Oh my god, there's one kill. Like, they don't normally go super silly with the Scream kills, but there is one kill which I'm sure you've already seen the highlights for, where they put the one kid they kill on like looks like a beer dispenser or something starts coming out of his mouth. Oh my god, it was horrendous to see on the screen. Like, oh. But we do get a lot of return performances. Obviously, like, David Arquette and Stu Mack, a lot of those characters, they're kind of died in the old movies. But we do get Gail Weathers. Courtney Cox comes back. And for the first time in all these Scream movies, she tries to get an interview with Sydney. Not like she doesn't try that every movie, but I think she kind of succeeds here. And we get some cool moments. And like I said, there is a lot of meta commentary, especially with Sydney missing New York. I think we all kind of know what they're referencing there. And you get a nice cast of characters here. You get some interesting neighbors, you get the school, all of Sydney's new daughter, Tatum, and all her friends. And it's really focusing on the killers kind of coming after Tatum. And they, like I said, they do a bunch of meta commentary, like, well, we're going to use your daughter. We're going to create Sydney 2.0. And I was, I was like, I think they really are kind of trying to do that. But it is great to see Neve Campbell back. I haven't seen her in a lot in recent years, and they reference it in this, but she is the Scream Queen, right? She is that protagonist, just like this franchise that refuses to die. So seeing her back, honestly, just felt right. Felt good. I settled into the movie pretty quick. I'm not the biggest horror fan, but I do enjoy the Scream franchise, and I had a pretty good time with this one. It's got a creepy vibe. The kills are unpredictable. I honestly wasn't sure, who was going to die and in which order and things like that. So I got some pleasant surprises there and some really graphic, interesting kills. They don't all get killed the same way. Let me tell you, it's not just getting stabbed. I thought the lighting and stuff was really creative, the way they used the shadows and things a lot of parts so that, Ghostface could be here, could be there. And a lot of times he did pop out unexpectedly. And they had, those moments where they're walking around an area, almost like Scooby-Doo, where they walk right by where he is and don't see him, and then he'll walk somewhere else and everything. Oh, it was good. I liked it. Scream is back, baby. We get a good time here. And we get the protagonist is good, obviously, but you get the antagonist, obviously Ghostface. It's pretty good. I couldn't figure out who it was really all the way to the end. We do get a reveal right at the end, of course. You know how that goes. Kind of like Scooby-Doo lifting off the mask. You got to find out who Ghostface is. And it was, it wasn't like super disappointed or anything, but I don't know. I wasn't super thrilled, but I did think it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I had a good time with this. I was scared. It was creepy when it needed to be, tense, and the kills popped up all over the place just to keep it, it never felt like the movie got too flat. There was always another kill on the horizon, another scary moment, another tense interaction going on, right? So I don't know, I thought it filled the time well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's under 2 hours, only about an hour and 45. So Scream 7 is a pretty good package. You get some nostalgia in here, you get some tense interactions with the killer, you get some violent kills, and some really interesting scenes to follow. All around a great time. Plus, it was nice kind of seeing everybody back in a nostalgic way. A lot of the guys from their, characters in the first two, you're going to get to see them here. Maybe some of them are dead. Maybe it's AI, maybe it's not, whatever. But it's just interesting to see the actors come back. I really enjoyed it and I had a great time with Scream 7. I'd probably give this one a 7.5 to 8, probably around an 8 out of 10 on the odometer. I had a good time, really enjoyed the story, and it's just nice to have a good horror movie to go check out. Well, not a horror movie, a slasher movie, I guess. But thanks so much for watching this far, guys. Really appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And everybody, stay out of trouble.